You're proving to be quite a talent. It's been a real pleasure hearing what my CSIs have to say about your work so far. That's why I'm handing you this case. A respected surgeon was brutally killed in his home earlier this evening. We've got only one witness, the victim's wife, a blind woman. Greg will shadow you on this one. Maybe he can learn something from you.
Hey, thanks for coming aboard. From what I hear, you are the CSI to be partnered with these days. So anyway, welcome to the crime scene. Grisly murder, Vic upstairs in the bedroom. The decor? Early spatter. And his wife Amita didn't see a thing, being as she's blind. But we can count on her other senses being keen. So we have to interview her right now, despite her understandable shock.
Hey, looks like you got everything under control. I'll see you back at the office.
We're sorry to have to trouble you, Mrs. Vanderreet. We're with the Las Vegas Crime Lab. We understand you found your husband.
My husband, Riot, he was very tired because he worked so very hard. He often went to bed early. Tonight, he went to bed early. I do, actually. It was just before the BBC NewsHour on the radio. That would make it around 7. I often stay up to listen. They play international music after the news. That would make it just after 9 p.m. when I went upstairs. I entered the bedroom as always, and as always I spoke to him. He did not sleep deep, and would greet me when I joined him. But he did not answer, even when I raised my voice. I went to him and found the awful moisture. I knew it was blood almost at once. I could smell the blood. I had some moments of panic, and then I went to the phone and called 911, but I knew it was too late. His breathing, I could not hear it. Yes, I am blind in both the practical and legal sense.
How well do you see?
I have basic light and dark sensitivity. I cannot see objects or shapes, so I must rely on my hearing. My ears have become my eyes. No, my ears were as blind to it as my eyes. You see, I did not like to disturb my husband. As I said, he was a light sleeper when he could get sleep at all, so I use headphones after he goes to bed. I did faintly detect footsteps on the stairs, but I thought those were my husband's. He would often come down for a drink of water, or perhaps to take sleep medication. I surely must have. I cannot be specific. I was almost immediately in a panic, and my memory is but a blur.
Your clothing shows no overt signs of bloodstain, Mrs. Vanderreet.
I do apologize for that. I know I have probably inadvertently hurt your evidence gathering, but I felt compelled to change, to wash my hands, so as not to sit and wait in my husband's blood. I do have the clothing for you.
Blood transfer fairly minimal on these clothes, consistent with her interview. Let's take a look at the scene. Dead or alive, I don't like touching insects. Grab it if you want. Grissom will appreciate it. Older style answering machine. Tape's missing. I guess they weren't getting their messages. Bloody fireplace poker, and my usage isn't British. Probably an impromptu weapon picked up here at the house. Massive bleeding from the head, spatter all around. Indicates blunt force trauma. Height of the bloodstain indicates the attacker was short. 5'3", give or take. Definitely not a former NBA star. Ceiling spatter is consistent with the blunt force object being swung back for another hard blow. Nice one. Almost missed it myself. How about you do your partner a favor and skip telling Grissom what I just said? Fairly small print. If it's the attackers, we may be looking for a female.
I cannot be sure. Pryor usually locks up before going to bed, but as I say, he was especially tired. Perhaps he forgot. Such things were the province of my husband. Such a thought is unthinkable. Pryor was a shining star in the Indian community, well liked by his peers, adored by his patients. He leaves a terrible void. It varies according to the brand. Typically, I wear a woman's size 8.
Mrs. Bandery, may we take your slippers for comparison purposes? We found a footprint on the stairs, and if it's not yours, it might belong to an intruder.
You know I will do anything in my power to find the demon responsible.
You'll want a different tool for that. This doesn't look like anything from inside the house.
There's more to do at the crime scene before I can recover the body. There's more to do at the crime scene before I can recover the body.
You know the saying, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, must be a duck? Don't try that one out on Grissom. Looks like tea, smells like tea, analyze it anyway.
Sure, I'll send a team right out. Textbook case of death by forceful, blunt instrument impact. 4 medium impact blows, latter 2 drawing blood. Heavy dose of the Vic system, explaining the lack of defensive wounds on his arms and hands. Mr. Bandery was in a deep sleep that simply became permanent.
Can't rule out the missus. Not just yet. She cops to being in the house all along. Not only that, a blind person knows his or her house better than a sighted occupant. Asphalt. Sticky bun fresh, too. Bandereets are in a new housing development, newly paved roads, so there's the source. Asphalt's on top of the blood stain, meaning the slipper picked it up after stepping in blood.
I don't believe that I... Let me think. It was such a confusing evening. I'm sorry. Yes, perhaps I did step outside.
Mrs. Bandereet, fresh asphalt on your slippers indicates you wore them outdoors. Isn't that a little unusual?
In the cold light of reason, yes. But I was caught in the throes of panic, thinking an intruder might be in the house. I ran outside on impulse without any sense of my bearings. I did manage to find my way back home, and after several minutes, listening, felt I could risk going back and to phone for help. I'm sorry I did not remember this sooner.
That's all right. But my partner and I will need to have a look around, outside. somebody was in too much of a hurry to use their eyes backing out. Broken taillight, a fresh tread. Car backed up, bumped into the dumpster, then went up and over the curb and sped away. Missing a piece of the puzzle here, and the crime scene didn't give it up. Of course, the teacup could have been already chipped. There's more we should do with that item before we can process it. Nice catch. Let's see if we can flush out who drew a club in their poker hand. Vic's blood on the fireplace poker. An object consistent with the ceiling's backspatter. Good bet we have our murder weapon. You don't quite have a match there. Little details make all the difference when you're doing a comparison. When you're sure, ask me for a confirmation. Excellent. There's our make and model. Those two don't match.
That's an easy one. Give me a sec to look it up. Vic had a legal prescription for the medication, strictly kosher. Once you got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge.
Hey there, want a hint? Sure, I might be able to help. But remember, it'll count against you in your evaluation. The hint is ready in your case file. Mrs. Bandery says she went outside, and these droplets are consistent with what she told us. Make that what she finally told us.
Once you got enough evidence, I'll hit up a judge.
I can't think of anything I haven't told you already.
Print belongs to another eye surgeon, a Darsh Dewan. On visa sponsored by the Vic for his medical practice. No current address, though.
Adarsh was my husband's junior partner at the medical practice. Very fond of him, Prayat was. Adarsh's parents were old family friends of Prayat's in India. Prayat sponsored his visa so he could come here and work.
Where is Mr. Dewan now? We have no address on him.
Odd as it may seem, neither do I. Mr. Dewan was in the process of finding a home. I believe he was living temporarily with friends, but I'm afraid I don't know where. I believe my husband mentioned Adarsh had purchased a truck. I don't remember any special model or... what is the word? Make of the vehicle. And of course I have not seen it for myself.
No current address for Dwan in the system. No vehicle registered in his name, either. I'll let the boys know Mr. Dwan is a person of interest, but he may well have split if he's involved.
Marks are consistent. The fire poker is almost certainly your murder weapon.
Looks like the two of you are off to a good start. Learning anything from your partner?
We're too busy actually investigating a case to figure out which one of us you are referring to. So, to fill you in, we've discovered a print belonging to the former eye doctor's business partner on the murder weapon. According to the wife, he drives a truck, and we found a tire tread at the scene, along with broken taillight fragments.
So you have a suspect, and a reasonable description of his vehicle. Have you hit up Brass for an APB yet?
We were just on our way over there.
Tell you what, since you two are doing such a fantastic job with the evidence, why don't you keep at it? I'll talk to Brass and have him call you when he gets a hit on your missing vehicle.
Were those trash cans there before? Or am I having eyesight trouble? Tiny tape like this, likely from an answering machine. Tape snapped, but that's no problem.
Mother, pick up. Pick up. Mother, I know you're listening. You have got to divorce that man. I'm not asking for my own sake, but for yours. Please, please leave him before he makes good on that threat. You can still be happy, Mother. And so can I.
Maybe things at the Banderit house were not as perfect as Mrs. Banderit wanted us to believe.
I should have mentioned that. I just did not want you to misunderstand, to think my daughter... She has always been an excitable girl. She overreacts. I wanted to spare my husband of that melodrama, so I cut the tape and threw it away, and told Bryant the tape had broken. Is any marriage perfect? Whatever small problems there might be, my marriage was sacred to me, and Bryant's word, his will, I obeyed, with love in my heart. My daughter was raised in this country and does not understand. Why, she lives right across the street. She is a wonderful daughter at heart. She welcomes me into her beautiful kitchen for lunch every day. It's about time you people came around. I've been on the phone all night trying to get some answers from the police. Have you found my father's killer?
No, Ms. Bandery. We're with the Las Vegas Crime Lab. We've come across an answering machine tape of you begging your mother to leave your father. What threat were you afraid your father might make good?
It wasn't like that. Not a threat of violence. My father was pushing me into marrying a man I do not love. The threat was to cut me off from my mother if I didn't do his old school bidding. Some choice, huh? Marry a man I detest, or never see my own mother again. His business partner, a disgusting little creature called a Darsh Dewan. I work with the creep at my father's practice. Manipulating little weasel, playing off an old friendship between our families to worm his way into my father's good graces. Finally, I learned Adarsh was nothing more than a common thief, stealing from our family. I told him resign or face exposure, but he laughed me off. He said he could handle my stupid father. Never thought he meant murder. Yes, credit card fraud. Using my father's Visa card to be precise. A snake. Right behind our backs. My father told me that Visa noticed suspicious activity and alerted him right away. I don't know if he suspected Adarsh, but I did, and I found proof in his apartment. Yes, I won't have you wasting precious time here when you could be rounding up that little rat, Adarsh.
Actually, it won't take but a moment to collect that footprint by the door. Or we could wait here till we get a warrant.
If that's what will get you out of here faster, take the footprint and take off.
Grissom put me onto that runaway Doc you're looking for. Well, when a black and white hit the siren over that busted tail, Doc Dewan got nervous and hit the gas. Chase hardly started before he stripped the curb and got pulled over. The doctor is currently in custody as a person of interest. You can talk to this charmer anytime you like. Just stop by my office. Got his truck, too.
Hey there, want a hint? Damn, the tire we needed for comparison got shredded in the police chase, and we got no warrant to search the interior. We need some other way to tie the truck to the crime scene. All right. We placed the truck out in front of the Vic's place, without the tire track evidence.
Busted light ties the truck to the street in front of the Vic's residence. That key unlocks the truck for a look-see. He's on his way to interrogation now. Vandereet was found murdered in his home earlier this evening.
Murdered? No, he was my dearest friend. He was to be my father-in-law. Oh my goodness gracious, such a terrible thing to have happened. Are you certain? Could there be, I hope, some horrible mistake? Let me try to think. I believe I was in my office. Yes, I worked late in the office. I'm catching up on my paperwork, you know. I left around 9 p.m. on my way to Los Angeles to visit friends for the weekend. This should be no surprise. Do I not visit on occasion the home of my esteemed employer, my future father-in-law? Oh my goodness gracious, yes. All has been arranged between the families. I'm to marry Dr. Bandereet's most wonderful daughter, Adya. We are both excited to begin our new lives as Mr. and Mrs. Dewan.
Adia's excited, all right, but because her daddy was pushing her into this arranged marriage, and threatening to separate her from her mother if she didn't cave.
It's a big leap we make together, and of course she has small moments of doubt. But the day will soon dawn when my dear Adya will acknowledge her father's wishes and understand my sincere deep affections.
And your car was at the scene, Doctor. Maybe he knew about your stealing and didn't find it so trivial.
You have such a negative view of such innocent things. We were in the Bandereet's living room when the good doctor informed his lovely wife that I would soon marry their daughter. We celebrated over tea and Mrs. Bandereet requested a fire. At this time I handled the poker to which you refer.
Adarsh? No. My husband and I rarely entertain. I would remember.
He claims he helped start a fire in your living room fireplace, and got his fingerprints on the poker that way.
It is just barely possible Adarsh visited my husband here sometime while I was away, but I so rarely leave the house. If he had stopped by for business or on a social call, I'd surely remember.
Hey, what's up? He's on his way to interrogation now.
Please, I have told you everything.
We have a late model vehicle here, practically brand new. Still, I'd say Adar spruced up the interior. Cleaned, vacuumed it. Everything but the new car smell. So this is the memo Adya wrote. Locked. If we break in, the next Warren Brassel issue will be on us. Let's see what else we can... These are emails confirming online purchases Adarsh made using the card. Email confirmations are normally sent by merchants as a safety precaution, but Adarsh had access to their computer, and he snagged them to cover his actions. I'll have Brass check in with Visa.
He's on his way to interrogation now.
You use such harsh language to describe the smallest of misunderstandings. I am new to your country, and the laws and procedures here are unlike those in India. I plan to rectify the smallest of errors upon my return from Los Angeles. What memo?
The one from Adya, your bride-to-be, threatening to let her daddy know you've been stealing.
Again, I must point out that what may look to you like stealing is a mere misunderstanding. My sweet and lovely Adya has the tiny fault of getting largely excited over the smallest of matters. As I say, I would have corrected these trivial mistakes. I take perhaps foolish pride in the luxury vehicle I'm blessed to drive. I'm meticulous in my, what's the word? Upkeep. I keep it up. I keep it clean. I bought a portable vacuum to help in this crusade of cleanliness. Oh, let me think. I believe in my toolbox.
Mind if we take a look? We'll need your keys.
I'm honored to help you in your investigation.
Thanks. I'll hold on to him. Okay, I have unlocked the toolbox but didn't find any tools. Just cleaning supplies. My goodness gracious, but Dr. Dewan is neat. We can work with that on the assembly table. This little baby may mean we're now the proud owners of a complete teacup. Better confirm in the lab. Chip from Dr. Dewan's vacuum cleaner is a perfect match for the teacup found at the crime scene. Let's see him squirm politely out of this one.
Hey, what's up? He's on his way to interrogation now.
I sincerely doubt this is true. Surely this is a terrible misunderstanding.
Here's what we understand. A porcelain chip from a teacup in your vacuum matches a broken cup at the murder scene. We've got you covering up fraud, your fingerprint on the murder weapon, and your vehicle at the crime scene. It doesn't take 20/20 vision to bring you into focus as a suspect, Dr. Dwan.
Oh my goodness gracious, this does look terribly bad. But I am an innocent party in this guilty matter. I did not kill my good friend and colleague.
You're right, it does look terribly bad.
Please, listen. I'm new in this country. It takes much funds to start living in a new place. My colleague's daughter, she finds out in some devious fashion. She threatens to tell the good doctor unless I quit and run away. How could I consider this? I had agreed to marry the doctor's daughter. My family would be disgraced, would be devastated. So I drive to his house last night to bare my soul and to beg for forgiveness. The door I find open. No one answers my call. So I go inside. But it doesn't feel right. In the air, something forbidding. Still, I go up the stairs to the bedroom. And then I saw him, my benefactor, my friend, dead. I knew at once I will be the suspect. I panic and flee in my vehicle fast as I can.
Hey, what's up? He's on his way to interrogation now.
Do you not listen? Am I speaking to the ears of the deaf? I helped Mrs. Banderit make a fire in her living room. I know her daughter. She never wanted to marry me, but her parents, they are delighted to make this traditional arrangement. It was Adya who objected. It is Adya to whom you should speak. Adya, she was angry with her father. Yesterday they had an argument at the office. I did not hear all that was said, but it did have to do with her mother, with something Dr. Banderit did to or with Adya's mother.
Thanks for the information, but you'll need to remain our guest while we check out your story. No more last-minute trips out of town, Doctor.
I have nothing else to say to you.
I called Visa. Good folks over there. And they said Visa's continuous monitoring program detected suspicious activity. Mr. Dwan was changing the shipping address, sending items to his home and back to India. Not your model employee. He's on his way to interrogation now.
Please, I have told you everything.
This is a wake-up call. The slipper with the asphalt mark matches the muddy footprint, meaning Mrs. Bandery called on her daughter after discovering Mr. Bandery had bought it.
Footprint evidence provides a clean link between her home and the crime scene. Plus, we got a possible motive thanks to the answering machine tape. Enough for a warrant.
Why do you stupid people insist on wasting time searching my house when I've already told you who to investigate? In the meantime, my mother is on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and the killer is running free. I don't have another word for you.
Cool. We work well when it's quiet. We'll start with your fingerprints.
Ugh.
You want a different tool for that. You're close. Try something similar. Looks like Ms. Bandery has a few more words for us after all. Secret ones, but words. So our Vic was responsible for his wife's blindness. Bloody fingerprint belongs to the daughter. That puts her at the crime scene when her father was murdered.
Based on the blood evidence found in her home and our strengthened motive for the killing, as well as her bloody fingerprint at the crime scene, I'd say getting a warrant's a slam dunk.
All right. My mother was here. She came over right after discovering my father's body. That's where the blood in the sink must have come from.
Okay, but that doesn't tell us how your bloody fingerprint wound up in your parents' house, does it? When you learned your father botched your mother's operation, you saw red. You sneaked in and battered your father and left a bloody print on the way out. By the time your mother discovered the body, you'd already washed up at home in your sink.
That's all backwards and sideways. When my mother discovered my father's body, she freaked out. Hello, she's blind. So she ran over across to me, covered in blood. I left her there, went over to check on father, and of course took his pulse, which is how I got blood on my hand. Get it? I went back to my place and told Mom that Daddy was dead. Really dead. She wouldn't let me call the police. I don't know why, just in shock, I guess. I helped her wash up. She had me walk her back home, but then pleaded with me not to stay.
Your mother makes a habit of forgetting such little details.
My mother looks out for me. Doesn't yours? She's way overprotective, and in this case, I just followed her wishes because she was freaking out. She wanted to spare me, to keep me out of any investigation into this tragedy. But you have to believe me, you are wasting your time down this path. Adarsh, that evil troll, is your killer.
We'll ask the opinion of the evidence, if you don't mind. You want a different tool for that. The Vic has a swimming pool. Let's go back and see if we can answer the big question. What's it all about? Algae? Pool house is separate from the main residence. Don't think our warrant covers it. Let's look around outside. You want a different tool for that. It matches all right. Perfect place for someone to clean up after a little dip.
Vic's blood at the entrance of the pool house? That makes it part of the crime scene as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, what I would have given for a place like this back in my college days. Somebody's been staying here. A wife, maybe? Odd for such a devoted couple. We don't have permission for this. Yet. Blood spatter on this robe is consistent with its wearer delivering medium impact blows, like those that killed our victim, not somebody just stumbling innocently upon a bloody corpse. That would be a big bingo. Assailant definitely wore this robe during the murder. This fabric's definitely part of the robe.
Widow Banderit's been lying from the start, maybe covering up for her little girl. Let's get her in here.
We found a robe in your pool house covered in your husband's blood. Spatter found on the robe is consistent with someone at the scene when your husband was killed, not with contact with the body after the fact. Your daughter was at the crime scene, and we believe she may have worn your robe when she killed your husband.
She did no such thing. I did. I am not about to let you make the wrong assumptions and persecute, much less prosecute, my daughter. Arya has been through quite enough. Thank you. You've talked to people. Surely by now you know what a cold, controlling monster my husband was. And as his wife, I accepted this. But for my lovely daughter, life must be different. She was born here, left home to go to school. And yet, still he tries to control her, manipulating her into an occupation pleasing to him, forcing her to work for him. Adia seemed content with these choices, however pushed upon her they might have been. But when Prayat insisted, no, demanded, Adia marry a man she did not love, a man with the same old-fashioned notions that would mean disrespect and a slavery of sorts for my precious girl. And then, when he threatened to separate Adia from myself, I had no choice but to stop him. What mother wouldn't? And so I killed him. I put him out of our misery. When I learned that foul snake Adash was in your custody, I thought his karma had caught up with him. But when you begin to suspect my daughter, my innocent child, I must come forward. Jaya will be a small payment for a life of freedom for Adia.
Man, nothing like a confession to make a CSI's day. Even at night.
Hold up. Problem. Daughter's just confessed to the same murder Mommy did. Adia Bandareed is in the interview room. Talk to her.
So, you know our family secret? Yes. My mother suffered from a rare form of age-related macular degeneration. She needed a specialist, but my father wouldn't hear of it. Doing so would humiliate him. So he performed a surgery for which he was in no way qualified, and now my mother is nearly blind. I only recently found out, and I was angry as hell. But I swear I didn't kill him. He was a stupidly proud, often cruel man, but he was my father.
Nearly blind?
Yes, my mother has very limited sight. She's not 100% blind. I just heard that my mother confessed. She's trying to take the blame from me. Surely you can see that. That she's sacrificing herself for me.
Still hazy. Why don't you clear it up?
I did it, obviously. I swear. I wore the robe, killed my father. You've gotten the picture, right? How horrible he was to her? She was chattel. That sexist traditional nonsense was bad enough, but then his pride robbed her of her very eyesight. He was gonna separate Mother and me if I didn't marry that pathetic weasel. I couldn't stand for that. For any of it. I killed him. I killed him. I'd kill him again if I could. Arrest me. Let my poor sweet mother go.
Not that simple. Both you and Mom have motive and opportunity. But one of you is lying.
So you have two confessions. One murderer and one liar. What's your next step?
When in doubt, go back to the evidence. Only I'm not finding anything conclusive here. Both the mother and daughter have motive. Either one of them could have worn the robe. Both were linked to the victim's blood. I just can't find anything that points to either of them conclusively.
German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, "Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world." It's possible you're letting your own perspective blind you to the evidence.
Are you seeing something that we're not?
Not from here. Go back to the scene of the crime. Put yourself in the killer's place. And remember, even the best of us can miss important evidence sometimes.
Huh. I wonder if Gris ever gets tired of being right. If I were standing where the assailant did and struck the victim, then when the weapon came back, the blood cast off would fly right, because I'm right-handed. From this position, spatter clearly swings to the left, hitting the wall, with no swings to the right. Our killer is left-handed. Now we just have to find evidence to determine whether the lefty is mother or daughter. Based on the slants of the letters and the direction of the smudge marks, we can safely say that Mrs. Bandereed is left-handed. Place settings in the daughter's kitchen indicate one is right-handed, the other left. Crossword handwriting says the mother was the definite lefty. We have our killer.
Hey, what's up? She's on her way to interrogation now.
Your daughter also confessed to the murder of your husband, but the evidence agrees with your version.
Of course it does. She is innocent, trying to protect me.
We know, Mrs. Bandereed. Your daughter is right-handed, but Mr. Bandereed was killed by a left-handed person, like yourself.
I owe you thanks. I know I said some cruel things to you before, and I am sure my daughter has done the same. But I thank you for finding the truth in this, and not allowing to stand the injustice of my daughter being blamed for my act. She should be free. She has been inside the prison my husband built for her long enough. No, I won't. I told you. I explained it. Weren't you listening? I killed my father, and I'd do it again.
Maybe you would do it again if you had the chance. Only you didn't do it in the first place. Forensics tells us your father's killer was left-handed, like your mother. You're right-handed, meaning there's little chance you could have wielded that fireplace poker. Much as it may disappoint you, Adja, you're innocent. Your mother could no longer bear her controlling husband, so she grabbed the fireplace poker and for once took charge of her own life. And his. Then she went to your house and you helped her wash off before she hid the robe at the pool house.
All right. But before you go any further, stop and think. She didn't do this for herself. She did it to protect me. All those terrible years, she never once complained, never challenged that demon. My father was the monster here, my mother the victim. To be pitied, not tried for this necessary execution.
We did fine. Great, in fact. Nice having another sharp pair of eyes. Justice may be blind, but CSI's gotta see every detail. Check in with Gris for your evaluation.
All right, here's your evaluation. For evidence, there were a few items you didn't find, or fully process. For hints, you didn't need many at all. And, at the end of the day, you followed the evidence to a clear conclusion. Can't argue with that. Good work. You did very well, though as I noted, there's still some room to improve. I'm giving you an above-average grade. And by the way, thank you for all the new specimens you found for my collection.